What's up, everybody? This is Sperry Berry Crunch, followed by my friend M. West. Dude, this is the good version, not the evil version, W. East. You guys got to be careful about that. You got to be careful. This is another episode of the Press Start to Chat podcast. Welcome in, my friends. Welcome in. Today, we're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch 3. I mean, 2.
Wow. Wow.
West,
Where's your Switch
well,
2? Bring it out.
it's
Is it
right.
is close to
It's
you?
right here. It's literally right
I,
here.
I need to see
It's
that you have one. Oh wow.
on
Wow.
I don't want you to see what's on my screen.
Wow. Okay,
But
okay.
yeah, dude, where's yours, man?
It's right here next to me. I usually
Oh
have
shit!
my
I think I just
Switch
broke it.
docked underneath
Oh, there you go.
my desk, but I think the
Nice.
Switch 2 deserves to be out.
I wonder if
So,
you can put it upside down since it's got the USB-C on the top side too. Has anybody tried that yet?
I don't know if that's good to do.
I mean, it's probably not good. It's probably great to do. I want to try it later
Okay.
for science.
So I wanted to get with you, Sperry, while it was early, while it's fresh on our minds. What are your early impressions of the Switch 2? And I see a lot of people either going super hard for the Switch 2 because there's so many people who are like, "Well, you wasted your money," and then there's a lot of people being super negative about it, saying you wasted your money, and it's more like a Switch Pro or you know all these different other Switches other than the Switch 2. So let's start off with some things that we loved, and then after that, we'll jump into some things that we just don't like about it. So we'll just basically do a pros and cons list, and we'll just kind of go point for point.
Sounds fantastic, man. Do you want to go first or you want me to?
I'll start with the first big tech thing for me. I'm a bit of a pixel whore, so for me, it having 4K was really cool. So I loaded it up.
Mhm,
I,
mhm,
I
mhm.
was I was able to navigate to that area, click on 4K, and I thought that was pretty cool. And then when it's not in dock mode, it's 1080p 120, which I think is also awesome. So I think the what they're able to do graphically, with the output and on the Switch, works perfectly for me. And I don't need a 2K or 4K screen when it's not docked, right? But when it's docked,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm super happy with the results.
Yeah. I play a lot of retro games, and so like the FPS and like graphically,
Hmm.
I'm horribly impressed. I mean, honestly, I'm going from Super Nintendo or N64 half the time, and then
Hmm.
jumping back over to this. And so, right off the bat, man, I mean, you can, like playing Mario Kart. I mean, Mario Kart's really the only like new title on there. But playing Mario Kart, I was very impressed with the textures and just like the squishy. Like I noticed like the squishiness of the wheels, and things like that. And I was like, man, this is. It just looks good. It looks good. I've only had a chance to play it on my PC monitors, and then I've played it just handheld a couple of times, and I'm blown away. I think it's awesome.
Since we're kind of talking about some of the aesthetics of it and different things, the overall like I guess like the functionality of controllers were really cool to me. The magnetic
Mhm.
snap on and snap off. Like with the previous Switch, they had to slot in, you had to pull something out. I didn't know if I was ripping them, and these just like you kind of click on a button and they automatically come out and they automatically snap
Yeah.
in. It was really a really nice change for me. So I love
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of an interesting choice because aren't magnets bad for technology? That's what I was always led to believe, at least, right?
Well, your mom said, "Sperry, don't put that magnet on a TV screen," and you put it on, and then
Right?
it caused like the rainbow on the corner or something.
That was so freaking cool, man. Let's be honest. That was the coolest thing. I ruined so many TVs that way, but worth
Mhm.
it. Yeah,
Okay.
that was
What
cool.
else?
But yeah,
What else you
I
got?
thought that was cool. I
Mhm.
really like. I mean, obviously, I like the size of it. Um, they say bigger isn't always better, but in this case, man,
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I like that it like the Switch. It feels solid. Like I played this for a while, and then I went
Mhm.
back to my Switch One to play a couple of games, and I was like, man, I could, dude, like this the Switch 2, I felt like it was like a baby. I was like bringing it around, and I was like, if I like hit this on the wall or something like that, I was like, it's gonna be fine. I was like, but the Switch One, man, it just felt like plastic and cheap, and I was like, I could drop this thing and it explode into 1,000 pieces easily, dude. I don't know if you felt that way too, but
Generally, so maybe we can change the order of this in editing because I just thought of something. So,
no, just free
well,
flow, bro. Tell me your thoughts,
I
dude.
wanted to know your. I'll tell you my story of how I got my Switch, and then I want to hear your story of how you got your Switch, and
Okay,
I think that
okay,
would be a
okay,
better
okay.
way to intro it.
All
But I'll
right.
share mine. So I stayed up. I was up at 9 o'clock when the Switches first went on, like pre-order,
Yeah,
and I fell asleep right at 9:30 when I was like in line at Walmart or something, and I didn't get it. And then
classic.
I've been complaining to Sperry, and I signed up for the Nintendo thing, and Nintendo was supposed to send me an email, and they didn't send it. They sent some
Never
friends,
did.
never
Yeah,
got
me
one.
neither.
And then everyone's getting their emails. All my friends went to GameStop and kind of just got in line randomly. And that day I went and trying to get in line, and I stood there for about an hour. And a GameStop guy comes out was and said, "If you don't have a red card, you're not getting one." I'm like, "Well, bitch, why'd you let me stand in this line for over an hour and not
Yeah,
say anything?" Hey
give me
guys,
a
while I'm
warning.
while I'm typing, hey guys, if you don't have a red card previously, you're not getting one. Just to let you guys know, so you don't waste your time. Whoever's in line. Thank you,
Yeah,
sir. Much respect,
that
right?
ain't that
But
ain't GameStop way, dude. They
no.
lead you on until the last moment.
Maybe it was that guy. So I don't want to be negative towards all GameStops, but maybe it was that guy, right? But anyway, I didn't get one that day.
Yeah.
And so now the day comes. Everyone's getting their Switches at midnight releases. My buddy, Mikey Day, shout out Mikey Day. He sends me a message. I'm down here at GameStop for my pre-order. He doesn't play video games at all. I'm down here for my pre-order. And they have two separate lines: pre-orders and then those who didn't. You need to stop your stream and come now. I was like, I can stop my stream at about 7. Would that be a good time? He starts messaging me, calling me at 6:30, and says, "You need to come down here now." And he was like, "F this stream, F you, get down here." And I'm like,
He was
"Sorry,
nicer
Mikey
than that.
Day, I'm not." He was no. That's just how he talks to me. He called me a bia and stream a few times. He's harsh, but we've been friends for years.
I said, "Bitch."
Yeah, that's exactly what he was saying. And so I ended up not going. I was like, look, if I can't get a Switch 2 naturally and easily, then I'm not going to get one. And I don't mean like it needs to just be effortless. I'm just not in a mood to like struggle to get one.
For sure.
So the next day, I get up early in the morning, like at 4 a.m. I go on the GameStop website. They have a few, and I order one. I was able to get one, and it was like one of those bundles that was like 680. I paid it.
Mhm,
It came
mhm,
with a
mhm.
bunch of stuff. I even tried to look at Costco's website, but they had already been sold out since midnight, like 12:01. Of course, I'm gonna be asleep, and so
Nah, dude, false.
I'm at work and I'm feeling pretty good about myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get at least I'm going to get a Switch 2. I saw something on Twitter. Maybe some guy was like, Target had a bunch of them. I just walked in and casually got one. There's a Best Buy right across the street from my job. I decide, you know what? At 10:30, I'm gonna go and take a look. I leave my desk. I head across the street. I pull up. I get to the parking lot, and there's a heavyset gentleman racing me to get to the front, and he's walking fast. I'm walking fast. I get in the door before him. He goes right. I go straight. And I'm like, shit, I think I went the wrong way. And by the time I get back, and I'm talking about where this is like 30 seconds, he has a Switch 2 in his hand. I'm like, oh man, did I just miss
He
it
beats you,
again?
dude.
Yeah. And
Thought you were
so
faster than this.
I get in line and I wait, and the lady calls me up, and I'm like,
Mm.
"Is there Switch 2s for normal people?" She laughs like, "Normal? You're a nerd too." I'm like, "Oh man." And so she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "And Mario Kart?" She says, "Yes, and a controller." There's no pro controllers, but just extra ones. And so she gets everything and hands it to me, and I end up getting my Switch that day, and I didn't get to play it until late Thursday evening for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then Friday not so much, and then I just got back home from a trip with my wife, so yesterday on stream was my first day playing Wednesday. So that's how I got
Dang, dude.
mine.
Damn,
Yeah,
dude.
how'd you get yours, Barry?
Damn. So West messages me at was it Wednesday night or Thursday morning? Like 6, I think it was like 6 o'clock in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I check my. I always check my Discord messages first, you know. And there's your message to me, like Sperry, dude. Costco sold out, dude. You got to find another way. I
Online,
was like,
online.
I
That's
was,
all I knew at the
yeah.
time.
No, yeah, no, for sure. And I was like, I like a groggy me was like, okay, whatever, man. And so I took my son to school, and my brother called me, and he was like, hey, I'm in line at Costco. I'm waiting for him to, you know, open the doors and things like that. They open at 9 here, so I'm gonna pop through. He's like, but I'm like third in line, and there's like I don't know 20, 30 people like, you know, behind me. And I was like, "Oh, cool, man." I was like, "That seems like legit." So I get over to Costco. Mine opens at 10, but so I get there at 9 o'clock, and
Mhm.
the parking lot is dead, absolutely dead. In my mind, I was like, "Oh, well, you know, like maybe they don't have it." And I wait about a half hour, and I get out of the car, and there's maybe like six older people, some I'm talking about like real classic humans, you know,
Mhm.
waiting in the at Costco gates, you know, they're ready for it. And me and like maybe like two or three other people that are just standing there, and they're like, "Oh, you're here for the Switch too?" I was like, "Hell yeah, dude." And so they're like, "Oh, okay, you know, we got plenty here." So and then I turn around, and within like 5 or 10 minutes, you know, like there was a line of people, but definitely under 50 for sure. I mean, I'm a bad judge of how many people are in a crowd, so I would say under 50 for sure.
Okay.
But I popped in there, man. You know, it was real streamlined. They handed me the little cardboard cutout, and then they handed me a controller cutout as well too. And I went straight to the front of the registers, you know, and
Mhm.
bought it. You know, super easy, man. I thought the same thing. I got the Nintendo email set up. You know, like the day they were talking about it. Never got an email. I did get one email though from Nintendo that was like, "Hey, remember us? Like we remember that you pre-registered, but we didn't do anything. You know, there's not going to be anything about that. We'll contact you later." So we'll see if they contact me ever. Um,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, it was super easy. I know in some places like it was much harder. Like the stock is good where we were located, but I
Mhm.
know talking to some friends, you know, from streaming and Discord and across the globe, you know, it wasn't as, you know, like there weren't as much stock like in certain areas too. So then there was also that whole fiasco in Staten Island where they stapled the receipts to the front
Right.
of the Switch and ruined a bunch of them. And I don't know how they remedied that. I didn't follow up on the story, but I'm assuming they would just like switch them out, you know, or something like that. But that was kind of funny too. But yeah, no, it was super easy, man. I was able to grab
Mm.
one real quick. I brought it home immediately. But I was like, Costco box was like it was all boxed up. Like you couldn't tell it was a Switch, you know, other than the
Mm.
controller. And so I felt like a secret agent, you know. And I was like, nobody, you know, hopefully nobody comes to attack me in the parking lot or anything like that, you know. I ran to my car, I threw it in there real quick, and I sped off, dude. Flipped off a couple old ladies on the way out too. I was like, you ain't getting my Switch, but no, that didn't really happen. But yeah, got home and played it for a little while, and it was awesome. I think it's cool. I think it's
Okay.
a cool system, man.
All right. Now let's jump into the pros and cons. Okay. So what are some other things that you like?
Okay, so I think I already talked about how I feel like it's really strong, like it's really sturdy, like
Mhm.
especially in comparison to the Switch One. Um, the screen is bigger, the controllers are bigger, which I know is really nice. That was kind of one of the things that like I didn't mind too much that the controllers were small before. I know I played with people with bigger hands. Like my dad has massive hands, and he was like,
Mm.
"Oh, this is, you know, I'm gonna crush this thing." So the controllers being bigger is nice. The Pro controller, I got one of those as well too. Like that feels like really
Ooh.
solid too.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks nice too. The colors are like ooh. But I would say like I don't know. I'm very much under the guise of like it's a Switch Pro. I mean, I don't feel like there's a lot of changes from the first one other than updates, you know, but I'm okay with that too. I had the Switch 1 since 2018, I would say.
Mhm.
mid 2018, and it's lasted. It's still lasting, but it's definitely had some wear and tear. The battery life lasts for like 30 seconds now or so, and I'm glad to get an upgrade, I would
Mhm.
say. But what about you, man? What do you like about it?
Kind of like the things that you mentioned. Bigger screen feels better. The magnetic controllers, the 4K, the 1080p 120. Some things that like you can't see is that like they're advertising Cyberpunk with it. And for me, my thing was the Switch was a good console, but if that's the only thing that you had, you were kind of locked out of third party games. And
Hmm,
no
hmm.
one wanted to see a Switch with more graphics or really cared for it or thought it was needed, but there would be like so many dry spells between like a Zelda or a new Mario game. And if that was your only console, then you couldn't even play Mortal Kombat or Call of Duty. And now this new Switch with its new GPU and Nvidia saying that it does all X, Y, and Z, I think it's really great. And so they have games like one of the Elden Ring games coming out. I forget its full name, but things like that have me really
Dust,
excited to kind of
Dust
see
Bloods or something like that, right?
something
I
like
was trying
that.
to look it up real quick.
Yeah, to see all the third party support. And so like you're running Cyberpunk on a Switch when it can barely run on a Steam Deck, which is
Yeah.
supposedly a more powerful like handheld. So like the Switch is really doing something special at its price point, at its thinness. Like there's a lot of cool things that the Switches do that I've yet to explore.
Mhm.
I like that it has like the camera and voice chat, and Nintendo's making some steps in the right direction. Those are also on my cons list, but those are also things that I like seeing that they're trying. At least you try. Like when you see your head from your camera spin out in Mario Kart and it's rolling around the screen or something. That's funny. That's really cool
Yeah.
seeing it. I like that, and I want to see them integrate camera and voice chat all over the Switch and multiplayer stuff. But I'll talk about it a little bit more. What it's missing once we get over to the cons list.
I also really like. I just wanted to add that I don't know if you play any of the online stuff. Like they have the Super Nintendo and Nintendo, and like all
Mm-hmm.
like some of the games on there. Um, I really like that they added the GameCube as well too. I know you're a huge GameCube hater, and maybe this will be the transition for you. Like you'll like GameCube games now. I don't know. I'm not keeping my hopes up, but I think it's cool. I like that they're adding more stuff to it, and like you said, yeah, they're trying to. They're trying new stuff, opposed to, a lot of these companies. I feel like kind of, well, I guess I take that back. A lot of companies try things and then they like take it back. The Switch One, I felt like was a really good transition from both the Wii and the Wii U into almost like what felt like a somewhat perfect system.
Mm-hmm.
You got Game Boy that Nintendo's always had, which is very handheld gaming. You have their systems, which is like in docked gaming. I guess you would call it. I don't know what the correct terminology would be. But then the Switch, like I know a lot of people that are like, I'm not going to play it handheld, or anything like that. I like it in both ways. I like playing on my TV, and then I like picking it up and going and sitting on my couch while, we're watching a movie or something like that, or riding in the car and playing it, or my big one is being on a plane and playing it. I love that, dude, and I'm all about that. So I think it's like a good mix and just like an upgraded version of the Switch One. As far as like anything that's really groundbreaking, I don't really see it,
Mm-hmm.
but bigger, better. I would say is kind of the consensus from my end.
So there's like a whole market that absolutely love its mobility, and so like I was watching this one
Mm.
dude. He had like this really like clean apartment with all these nice finishes and edges, and he was a bit of a skater, and he was talking about how much he loves the portability, and he slaps it into his backpack. And I was like, you sounded like, in my head, you sound insane, because I always buy cases for everything I have that's portable, and I take them nowhere. Like I
Oh
went
yeah,
to
yeah.
Hawaii and I took the Steam Deck, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna game, I'm gonna sit out on the patio, and I'm gonna watch my kids swim, and I'm just gonna get some game. I didn't touch the thing, not even once. So
Oh dang.
realistically, while I 100% understand that people love to travel with it, whenever I try, I end up just doing the thing that my family's doing. I never really get a chance to game.
Yeah.
So This time I'm not buying a case because I know the Switch is not going any place else but right here on this dock. So things may change,
I
but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You might switch it up, dude, and you
hmm
might be in Hawaii, in a couple months, and be like, "Yo, Sperry, let's play some Mario Kart, dude." I'll be like, "Done, dude."
I was.
But yeah, I was actually looking at cases the other day for the
hmm
same thing, and I was like, "This one specifically, I feel like I need to take a little better care of,
mm. Y-
But
y- Yeah, all my friends are looking at cases right now, but I was like, no case for me this time. Like, I'm not gonna spend the money on a case. Like, I have my original Switch case, I have my Steam Deck case, I have my PS Portal or PSP Go or whatever. I forgot whatever the PSP is, and I'm spending too long on cases. The point is, I just don't use them like I plan to.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
we'll see. Well, I'll check back in with you in 6 months when you're on the next trip.
okay, so
TwitchCon, dude, you'll be bringing it.
I'm definitely not taking it to TwitchCon. I don't want to carry anything. I'm taking a DJ Osmo Pocket 3, wireless mics,
Dude,
and that's it. No, no,
you looked you looked real hot last time, dude.
I'm taking it super light and casual. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the things that you didn't like, and I'm sure this list is a lot shorter.
Hold on, I
Um,
wanna I wanna tell everybody real quick, when I met you at TwitchCon, you roll up in, and then maybe you remember too, but in sweatpants,
mm-hmm.
a sweatshirt, a back camera, camera, phone, a wall. I was this boy's getting sweaty today.
We lost you for a little bit, so you're gonna have to repeat it. Like
No, I'm in.
internet hiccups. It,
I'm in half shorts, dude, and a tank top that shows my belly button, dude. And here's M West dressed for wintertime, dude.
I put on comfortable clothing, so I was like, I'm gonna throw on a hoodie, some comfy sweats, and I'm gonna be chilling all day. And it's like, no, it wasn't like that. I was warm, and then the gear that I had was really heavy, and so no more. Going totally
It was
comfortable
good.
next time.
It was
All
good,
right.
dude. What's some things that you dislike about it, man? Let's hear that, dude. Let's get in the grit.
Okay. They didn't fix online for me enough, right? I'm still using
Yeah.
a long ass friend codes, and then Uh, and and it's a little cumbersome to get into. You have to press the C button on the controller, which launches you in a chat. And then for things like Mario Kart, in order to use my camera, I have to be in a forced group chat for you to be able to see me. And I get it, child restriction, but as an adult or the account holder, if I'm over 18, I should be able to choose turn on my camera and just play the game. And so if you play the game, you have to go into a chat and add a friend to chat with, and that's the only way your camera shows up. And the
Hmm.
camera is so cool to see it on screen, or you're driving and your facial expression like, oh, what the fuck, like that is such great footage, and you can't always see that unless you're in this weird chat with a friend. So right off bat, the chat annoys me. And then it doesn't seem like the no matter if you use a bad camera, it looks bad. But if you use a nice camera, like I have some 4K webcams here that I'm testing out, and I'm gonna test the Sony ZV-1 pretty soon to see if it changes the quality. But it seems like whatever Nintendo is seeing or doing with the camera quality, it doesn't look good. So I'm not sure
Yeah,
if that's
I
just
agree.
I'm not sure what that is, but I haven't seen anybody's camera look really nice on it. So there's some compression or some other weird things going. And then the voice chat mic is a little funky, right? So they'll use the
Mm,
mic from the camera or from a headset. And so if you don't have headphones on, your friends or family member can hear your conversation online. And I don't necessarily
mm,
like that either. So right off the bat, the camera and the online stuff, while it's cool, they still have some work to do. So now if they make some improvements and update the online, which I think they're lacking, for some reason they're so far behind, I think it could be really neat and fun. And they need Discord integration for chat. Like everybody uses Discord except for them.
True. It's true. Yeah, I would love to see Discord. I mean, Nintendo's always kind of done their own thing
Right.
too, as far as like what they want to do. And the online thing, as we were talking earlier too, is like I feel like it's very oriented towards like being kid friendly, But like you brought up, as a simple improvement, you just have an age restriction setting, so
Mhm.
you can only talk with friends that you have added and you know who they are and you can see their camera or know their birthday or whatever it is,
Yep.
you want to have. But what kind of improvement would you make to like add friends easier, or like what's some improvements overall? Because I know they added the Ethernet, which was awesome, dude. Like not having everything run on Wi-Fi or having the little adapter dongle to like plug in Ethernet cable is cool. Like you could just plug it right in. But what's some things you would do to improve upon it?
Online easy. Instead of 1236992-112, you'd be Sperry.
My
I just
social
found you.
too,
Yeah,
by the way.
right. MOS. You
How'd you
just
know?
found me. That would be it. I mean, and then start sending out headsets with it. Packaging some really cute. I'd collect Princess Peach, a Mario, a Luigi headphone, or over the air cans with their logos. Those are just collectors items that I would 100% buy. Or if you have like a higher pricing package, I'd buy it with those or some
Yeah,
in ear. So I'd like to see that, and then include Discord as one of the apps and allow me to download it and chat with friends that way. Nug made a point a while back that not everybody uses Discord and it's only for like super tech savvy folks. True. Microsoft and PlayStation have both started to include Discord. I wasn't as familiar with it, and maybe I'm in the minority, but it's available for people that want to do direct chat, group chat, in-game chat, Discord chat. So I want options on how I want to communicate with my friends, and sometimes I want to be in the Mario Kart lobby talking shit with these bitches. They need to
it's
know that I'm
true. It's
here.
true.
So that's how I'd
I'm
make some
racing, dude.
improvements. Yeah. All right.
Um,
What else don't you like?
I notice a lot of things in games. Like I totally agree with you as well too. I've played games with my son, and I'm like, you should just get Discord, man, because it's gonna be easier. But
Mhm.
I noticed some things in games that I would like to change. And I've been playing a lot of Mario Kart, and I think like setting up a group in Mario Kart
Oh yeah.
always needs to be easier.
Yep.
Like you and I were trying to play Knockout yesterday, dude, and that was just a pain. I would love it if we could build a group of 2 or 3 or 10 people, and then those 10 people would always race together, but we could all be online together too. It wasn't
Yep.
just like by chance we all made it into the same lobby. Like by chance we all can race together, or
Hmm.
we can make our own custom lobby. Like, let me make a custom lobby, but have it open to, like
Public.
have 10 slots open, or
Yeah.
something like that, or adjust it from there. Um, I don't know. As far as the system itself goes, I mean, the one thing I was kind of telling you about was like the dock feels really flimsy too, and I've got
Hmm.
it docked right now. That back piece I thought I was gonna break when I was pulling it
Hmm.
off of there, but nothing nothing on my side is really like jumping out at me yet as like you need to fix this. Aside from the things we were just talking about. Um, I know some people are concerned about the memory space on it as well too.
Hmm.
And I'm one of those people that I have a game on there. My PC doesn't reflect that at all. I have 1,000 games downloaded. But on Switch, I'm like, yeah, I got Mario Kart. It's easy because there's only one game out right now too. But and then if I'm playing another game, I'll play that one and I'll download that and I'll have it for a while. And if I'm not playing it anymore, it's like Marie Kondo, dude. After 6 months, I uninstall it and I move on to the next game or whatever it is. So, um, but I do know there's concerns about that as well too. People can't transfer their 10 terabytes of game downloads, over to it and have them all readily available at all times, even though they only play 3 games. So,
Right. I am.
yeah,
I'll be honest. I'm one of those hoarders, and I need all my games at my fingertips just to look at them, scroll through them, and be like, "That's all me." Uh,
right.
but
It's like
speaking,
I feel like it's like Netflix. I get there's too many options, and I'm like, I could watch these 10 shows, or if I had one movie, I'd be like, I really want to watch a movie. I guess I'm just gonna watch this movie. But I get stressed out from it, man. It's too much.
that's like a show for another. We have a probably should do another show soon to talk about the whole Xbox Game Pass and Steam
Yeah.
and all that stuff. Because yeah, like
Yes.
overconsumption can really stop the consumer from enjoying things. Like there's too many things on Xbox Game Pass, and people, I don't know, you feel overwhelmed. But back to the Switch. I'm sorry. For
I got
me,
plenty of things to say about that too.
I'm struggling with the virtual card. So I wanted to
Oh
play
yeah.
Metroid because it shows Metroid. So like when you get your Switch, it says, "Hey, sync your Switch 2 with your previous Switch," and you put them together, and it goes
Mhm,
for a minute, and it syncs up this data. And so when you look at your Switch, you're presented with all the same games and things that you had previously. So you're like, "Okay,
mhm,
cool, let me play it." I click on Metroid. I want to see how it's running, and I can't play it. It says I need a virtual card, and I'm so confused by this because I didn't do any research. I click on it, and now it's telling me to go get the Switch. I'm like, how do you know I didn't throw that away, gave it away, or it's all out of juice now? So now I need this other Switch the whole buy. Click on a virtual card slot that's update 2-3.2.2, and then once I click on it now, it's a bit confusing. And
was
so I
weird.
started doing a little research online, and
Mhm,
it allows for some cool things like sharing of games. So like I want to virtually share my game with Sperry. I can. It allows you to designate. So like let's say you have 5 switches, you can say, all right, switch 3, I want you to play, Princess Peach, and so you can go online on your phone and just designate it to play that one. Um, so it has some features, it has some functionality, but it's not clear and it's a little confusing. And I'm glad I don't have to like bring it close every time. But
yeah.
it seemed like that's what it was at the beginning, or maybe I just didn't read it. But that was something that I was like, I don't like this very much. What else
That
you
kinda
got,
turned
sir?
me off
Oh,
too, man. Like, I was weirded out, but because I thought the same thing. I was like, what if I gave my Switch away, to
mm-hmm.
somebody? Or, like, am I able to play Mario Kart World on the Switch 1? Like, and could probably do more research on it too, but it felt a little bit off,
Yeah,
and I
yep.
was like, "Alright, do I actually have the game on the Switch too, or is it on the Switch 1 now, and I'm able to play it because I still have my Switch 1, which is loading to the Switch 2. I don't I was like,
Mm,
okay, that's weird."
yeah.
But yeah, man. I think overall I'm happy with it for now.
Okay.
I'll check back in a couple of months, once some of these other games come out. I mean, I was looking up games too while we were chatting as well. I mean, there's you mentioned the From Software game Dusk Bloods. Donkey Kong Bonanza comes out next month, July 17th, so almost a month from now. Um, there's Hyrule Warriors, Kirby Air Raiders, and there's Metroid Prime 4, which looks really cool. There's a bunch of games that are kind of planned out for it, that I'm excited about. But I would say I'm happy so far, Are you happy so far?
I'm semi happy, but I do understand how new console releases work. So like I've been in that situation with the Xbox One, the
Hmm.
360, the Series X or whatever, and just not having any games to play. And right now with just
Yeah.
Mario Kart to play, that's not enough for me. And then adding enhancements to the previous games, those are cool, but if I haven't played them by now, I'm not necessarily looking to play them. So
Yeah, that
I think
doesn't
the
do
launch
anything.
lineup is a little, it's more
Weak.
thin, yeah. And
It's real weak, dude. No, I agree. I think it's weak. I mean,
yeah,
we don't. I mean, that was how it was when the Switch One came out. Was
yeah,
hey, Mario Kart 8, and it was like, oh, that was on the Wii U.
yeah.
Breath of the Wild. Oh, that was also on the Wii U. So I
I,
hear
I,
you.
I want more games, and them bringing the GameCube is kind of like it to me. It's kind of like when my son's like, "Hey, I took out the trash." I'm like, "Duh, you bet that's part of your chore. Like you need
Yeah.
to be doing these things, to coexist with me in the household." And so like them bringing
Mm-hmm.
out like the GameCube and the Super Nintendo, those are like given. Like these are classic things that Nintendo should be doing for us automatically. Like, hey, you're paying for the subscription. Here's all these retro consoles and all the games that kind of go along with it, and here's your access
Mm-hmm.
to it. Like, give us some incentive. So I like a lot of my friends were excited for the GameCube, but for me, I was like, along with being a GameCube hater, I'm more like, duh, about time you give us that. I
Yeah.
want everything on there, and so I'm a little
Well, yeah, I
frustrated
would.
with their backwards compatibility and like rollout of it. Like, big one that really bothered me was like GoldenEye. They
Yeah.
allowed GoldenEye to be on Xbox, but I couldn't play online on Xbox, and then on the Switch I could play online, but I couldn't remap the controller. So it's like, okay, Nintendo, like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think about often too is like I have the online and I play a lot of Super Nintendo games or
Mhm,
N64, but I have more games in my physical collection than I
mhm,
do in the online collection.
mhm.
And I'm most of the time going to play the ones that I have a physical copy of. But it would be nice some of those like obscure titles, to play on the Switch. And I don't know what like the licensing is for them as far
Right.
as like some of these companies go, but let me play Donkey Kong 64 on there, or Conker's Bad Fur Day, or let me play Hagane on the Super Nintendo, when a
Mhm.
super rare game, or whatever it is, let me jump into some of these titles, that aren't available. Why don't we have more games,
Yeah.
And even with the GameCube, as you brought up too, there's only like 2 or 3 games, I think.
Yeah, I went to go
So
check for my haters. For everyone saying that I'm a hater, I pulled it up and I was like, all right, I'm gonna grab something that the community likes that they've been telling me to
mhm.
play since I'm the biggest hit, and maybe I'm missing out something. So I'm willing to eat my words. Like, yeah, I've been talking all this shit, but here's the GameCube, here's the game. Wow, this was really good. I'm glad I got this, lunch pail of a console. But guess what? There's nothing on there, so I win again. Haters gonna hate, players gonna play.
I feel like it's like building a house and
Uh-huh.
you framed everything and you're like, "Hey, here's a house." And they
Yeah.
framed it all, and then it's like, "Cool, it's ready to move in." And it's like, "But you don't have walls up
All
or
right.
electricity
So
or plumbing
So here's the final
or
question. Would you recommend a Switch 2 to somebody who's on the fence?
somebody who is on so okay. So this is an interesting answer and an interesting question.
Mhm.
Because I'm a Nintendo head.
Okay.
The reason why I get Nintendo above all other reasons is because they have Donkey Kong and they have
Really?
Mario
Okay,
and
don't
they have Mario Kart, dude, and they
okay.
have the Nintendo exclusives.
Okay.
Like I've
Okay.
said it before that if any of those games were on Steam or another console or anything like that that I already owned, I would be getting them there. If it was all on Steam, I would play it there easily, way faster, you know what I mean?
Okay.
But the reason why I continue to buy the Nintendo products is so that I can play Nintendo products. They have good exclusive games. I feel like, in my opinion. Um, Not everybody thinks that way. If somebody's on the fence, I would ask them what their gaming preference is. First
Okay.
of all, if they like indie games, if they are gonna play on the go, if they're into just like sitting down and playing some games and playing big games or games with their friends or like whatever kind of what get to know them what they're into. I would say if you like Mario Kart, if you like Donkey Kong, if you like the Nintendo exclusives, then I would wait maybe like 6 months until they have a couple more games out. That way you have options. That way you can play Mario Kart for a little bit and then play Donkey Kong for a little bit and play Dusk Bloods, the From Software exclusive for a little bit. If you are not into that, then just don't get one at all. Stick
Mhm.
stick with your Steam, stick with your Xbox, play games on any other console or on the PC, which is, let's be honest, one of the master races. Another conversation we'll have later. Don't clip that, cut that, cut that, cut that. But you know what I mean? I feel like I would not necessarily steer them away, but try to guide them for their perfect preference in gaming because everybody's a little bit different.
Right.
Like I said, I like the Nintendo. I like the fact that I can go lay on my bed and play Mario Kart, with my friends. I like the fact that I can eventually look forward to some cool exclusive games. But yeah, I would say wait for now, definitely. Unless you're ready to get beat at Mario Kart, don't. What about you, man? Would you recommend it, or are you steering them away? Are you pushing
Um,
them or pulling them?
So if you're on the fence, I'd say get it because you're already thinking about it and you're probably a Nintendo fan and love these games. But if came to me and was like, "Hey, I'm not sure if I should get it or not. I'm not that big of a Nintendo fan." I'd say wait. Only one game being available and it being Mario Kart, or maybe you're not a big racer, then definitely hold on. But the
Mhm.
Nintendo Switch 2 has a lot of great potential, and it being such a robust or powerful portable console, and I need to spend some time. I want to look at Cyberpunk footage, but it being able to run that, I think is awesome, right? So I'm thinking about my Call of Duties and other major games, and then how Xbox is kind of moving right now in the space. It seems like Nintendo's going to get access to a lot of cool games, so we're going to get COD on here, maybe Gears, maybe some. I don't know what's coming, but if it's able to run and Microsoft is doing what they're doing right now, I think the portability of the Switch is gonna be really cool in the future. But right now, there's not a lot of games, so you have to be a fan of Nintendo and be a fan of racers, and maybe have like a library of games that didn't run so good that are now enhanced that you're looking forward to play. So Fence Rider, get it. Not into racers, don't get it. Not a huge Nintendo fan, don't get it. I think there's time for you to wait. And the holiday seasons are going to pop off, and people are going to go super crazy for it.
For
I
sure.
had to beg
For
my
sure.
son to kind of play the Switch with me. I was like, "Hey, the internet's off. We could play the Switch with no internet." He was like, "I'd rather, where's the internet?" And he just played on his iPad for like the next 45 minutes and ignored me. So,
Dang.
um, my kids don't really care for this stuff, even though it's available to them. So that's kind of where I land. I'm enjoying it. I don't regret my purchase. I'm not having like buyer's remorse or anything.
Me either. Yeah, me either.
Pretty happy with it. I got to play Mario Kart with Sperry, and I want to join him on his stream and talk some shit to him with my camera on.
Too easy.
Yeah, and he obviously has a cheating card. I don't know what it is. He can't be that good already. So that's
I
it.
don't know, man. Wes was doing really good, man. I was trying to keep up with him. I switched it up a little bit when it was just you and me racing, but dude, he was up there, man.
Wow.
Casey's too good, dude. Casey's got me beat for sure.
All right. So we'll go ahead and end the podcast here. Thank you guys for checking out. What is this, episode 4 or 5 of the pod?
I think this is 6.
Yeah, episode
Maybe
6.
it's 5. Maybe it's 5.
5 or 6, two dudes talking. This was our, um,
The
our.
name of it.
Let's get together and talk about the Switch episode. Let's talk about the Switch too, because I think there's a lot of folks that are interested in it that don't know if they should get it, and I just thought that a long form conversation about things that we liked or didn't like could help somebody out there. So
Mhm, mhm,
thank you,
mhm.
Sperry, as usual.
Thank you, bro. You were fantastic. Dude, you were so good on this
Meow.
episode.
Yep. All right.
Hell yeah.
Later, dudes. All right. Let me stop it
Later,
here.
dudes.